sick and tired of hearing about privilege. Privilege isn't being white, bonehead. Privilege is living in government housing and calling people oppressors while they pay your bills. Get it? I'm done pretending that any of this bullshit makes sense. You want to talk about privilege? You want to talk about real privilege? Real privilege is wearing $200 sneakers when you haven't worked a day in your life. Privilege is walking around with $300 Beats headphones while you're living on food stamps, while you're on public assistance, and it's paid for by people who wake up and grind every day. Privilege is having the latest smartphone with unlimited data and having zero idea where the bill goes because somebody else is always picking up the tab. Privilege is being able to protest every little thing that offends you without worrying about calling in sick to work because you don't have a fucking job. Privilege is being able to cheat, lie, fail over and over again in life and still get bailed out while people who play by the rules get punished. That's privilege. This isn't about race. This isn't about class. This is about accountability. We've got a culture that rewards victimhood and demonizes work ethic and responsibility.
I agree. We have a culture that rewards victimhood. Why? Because even if it's not victimhood, you still get the reward.
Meanwhile, the people holding everything together for the rest of society, they get taxed into the fucking ground. Their businesses get choked by regulation, and they get personally vilified for speaking up and saying that this is bullshit. You want to talk about privilege? Then start with the people who've never paid the price, but who also scream the loudest. Because they've never had to build anything. They've never had to defend anything. They've never had to carry any real weight. And the reason they get away with it, it's because we don't live in a society of strong men anymore. No. That's been dismantled on purpose over the last 50 years because a society of strong men would never put up with any of this bullshit. And that's exactly why they came after us first.
I have to agree with them. It sounds like a demoralizing campaign because whenever you have a voice, you have to speak nicely about everything. Very nicely. You can show emotion as a man. That's bad. Unless you're part of certain cultures.
What does Remembrance Sunday mean for you? What is your message?
My message is, I can see in my mind's eye there was rows and rows of white stones of all the hundreds of my friends and everybody else that gave their lives for what? The country of today. No, I'm sorry. The sacrifice wasn't worth the result that it is now.
Oh, well, I'm
What
sorry.
What do you mean by that, though? At this point?
What we fought for, and what we fought for was our freedom. We find that even now it's downside worse than what it was when I fought for it.
This is the saddest thing I've seen in my life. Somebody saying, I fought for something and now it's worse. I guess that guy suddenly is a right-winger, Christianist. Why? You know, the fact that they say Christianist, who started with Christianist? Are you trying to advocate there is Islamist and Christianist, or there are some bad Christian? For love in their country, you can just call them that?
Oh, Alec, I'm sorry you feel like that because I want you to know that all the generations that have come since, including me and my children, are so grateful for your bravery and all that for service personnel. And it's our job now, isn't it, to make it the country that you fought for. You absolutely fought for.
Is it.
And we will do. We want to...
I'm so wonderful to know there are people like you that can spread the word around.
We will do.
Younger generation.
And I guarantee that everybody watching at home will be wanting you to send lots of love. We've got another little bit special thing for you, Alec. We've got the D-Day darlings here. Come on over, guys. You've got a little special present for him.
Ooh.
Come and give it if you can, to thank you for all your many brave years of service and others like you.
This is our album, Alec, and I know you love a lot of the songs on there. And this is the least we can do. This is such a small thing, but you know we love you so much, Alec.
And it's all signed for you there as
These
well.
young ladies are like my own daughters.
Maybe it's just me. I just find it interesting that with just a CD, he's supposed to be happy. And he seems happy. But this is still happening in UK. And I think he is crying because this is okay, but this is not okay. The UK and England flag cult has been hijacked by the far right and Christianist. The video below is an example of how migrants feel when British men and women aggressively protest outside of their hotels with those flags. Nobody should feel like this in Britain. I mean, that is true. But at the same time, how do you think they feel when it's on the opposite side? This is only happening because politicians are using your trauma as a way to get votes. By trying to control the population by telling them they are the problem, but they are also funding the problem. Dilo, remember to subscribe.
¿Por qué?
Ça sent bon vers ici.
And my question to you is, which European countries is this? And I don't know if you noticed, but that was a mobile hepatitis HIV station. I've never seen one of those in a big city parked near a market. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I can see why certain people can be concerned.
All right, I'm a veteran. I'm telling you. All right, don't do it.
I'm not fucking Jewish. He's not Jewish. I don't know if he is or not. Doesn't fucking matter. This is fucking the USA. It's New York City. You don't have a fucking right to touch that shit. This is a free country. You can wave your Palestine flag and say death to the Jews or America, whenever you want. But we can put up fucking signs, okay? Then don't rip that down. You are doing something. You're offending us, motherfucker. Yeah, you are. When you throw that on the floor, you're littering the city. In a minute, I'm gonna litter the fucking floor with you. You have a proof? So move the fuck on. Do you have proof they're not kidnapped? No, so shut the fuck up. I know that's what you want. I'm dying to fucking put you in the hospital. Come on, you piece of shit.
If somebody rips something because it's politically motivated, somebody can block you politically motivated. It's very simple. If you don't see the difference, I'm sure you're going to see somebody as a Christianist.
Meet Zoran Mamdani's intern, Francis Hamed.
What is your name?
In October 2023, she was caught ripping down posters of hostages held by Hamas.
You are not allowed to post anything.
Hamed canvassed for Mamdani with Hunter YDSA, a student group at Hunter College that backs his socialist agenda. In August 2022, Hamed attended a rally led by pro-Hamas group Within Our Lifetime and the terror-designated organization Samadoun, carrying a Samadoun poster. She has also supported Within Our Lifetime on social media. Now, she's headed to City Hall. This fall, she'll work in a mayoral or city agency, possibly the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs or Asylum Seeker Operations. Hamed isn't Mamdani's only extremist intern. Hadika Malik, who worked for Mamdani in 2024, promotes jihad and harasses the police.
These officers! These are badges of the pigs! Show them Mohammed! Put some respect on that name!
And the true believer knows that none of this is in vain, that this is all jihad.
Zoran Mamdani is cultivating the next wave of radicalized city leaders. If he wins, these are the people who will run New York City.
He won. And I think we're going to see a pattern between UK and New York. Let's see how it goes.
What is Sharia law have to do with this?
I'm denouncing them. I'm asking you.
I am running.
I know, but that's the point. If you're going to run for mayor, you have to denounce it. You denounce that.
What is Sharia law?
I come from a political tradition Donald Trump describes as the enemy within. We came here to remake this state in the image of our people.
Okay, let me be nice. Let's assume these are clips cut out of context. The fact that you don't denounce Sharia law, that means you're going just like UK.
Sheikh Haitham is de voorzitter van een Sharia-raad, waarvan er in Groot-Brittannië zo'n 80 actief zijn.
For non-Muslims it's difficult for them to understand this. Muslims, they want to do things according to what pleases their God. Yeah? That's why, we need Sharia councils in the West.
The fact that they're saying there is 80 allegedly in UK, it makes no sense to me, because you want to have a law that you're telling me that I don't understand, so back off. I'm a non-Muslim. I'm like, what the heck is that? I can use your own word. As a non-Muslim, maybe the Muslim don't understand that we don't want to fund something that we don't understand. And what's interesting, the things that makes the country so prosperous, you want to change that and say to us it's phobic if you don't want to change that.
I saw Mamdani at a Jewish synagogue and at a pride parade, and he's not vocal on his specifics of his abortion stance, which he should be extremely against as a Muslim. And what people don't understand is that this is religious hypocrisy at its finest, and it's almost as blasphemous as it gets when you come to Islam. So any Muslim who claims to be a part of the trans community is basically publicly going against the Quran, which is the highest authority in Islam. All Muslims submit to the Quran over everything. Personal preference, family values, political views, everything comes under that umbrella. Meaning that he is very proudly committing a sin, a major sin, a public major sin, in the face of New York, to the world. All eyes on New York. And he's doing this interfaith stunt, wearing the kippah in a Jewish synagogue, which involves, in Islam, the imitation of another religion, which is also a public major sin. And all devout Muslims I know, really passionate Muslims I know, would say that he's crossing some extreme boundaries to win this election. And some say he should be kicked out of the Ummah, the community of Muslims, for these actions. And so you guys need to know, it doesn't matter the religion or the sex or whatever the mayor claims to be. His actions to play the political game are very unfaithful and very disrespectful to Islam. This is not what they stand for, and they do not compromise on these values. And Mayor Mamdani's pursuit here is something I want all honest people to keep an eye on, because he's lying on his faith or he's lying on his politics. And that is something that you want nothing to do with.
But also, it proves to me that people that say that Christianity and Islam kind of things the same. Yeah, we have things that are the same. But for some odd reason, they keep voting the other side. Which is interesting. So it makes me believe there is a higher probability they might lie about their politics than their faith.
Please stop donating meal kits to food pantries.
Stop donating food to pantries.
First of all, this is not disability accessible. People have food allergies, people are gluten intolerant, people are lactose intolerant. In fact, a lot of non-white people are lactose intolerant.
Wow, true. I'm going to eat the milk even if I'm hungry.
And this also takes away choice and autonomy to poor people. You're saying, here, I meal planned for you, instead of letting them choose what they should do with the food.
The food, they have no food. That's why, listen, if you get yourself in a situation, beggars can't be choosers.
I was about to say this. I'm like, since when? Like, even if we don't get along, the entitlement is wild. Like, I don't even have enough for myself. I'm giving you something that I might eat, and then you're like, wow, we don't want that. Buy what I want. Something extra that you might have.
A world where I work my ass off and I don't get to eat what I want, but you don't work, so I have to provide for you and you get to be selective about it? Are you fucking kidding me?
And I'm not saying this to be callous, but all of these recipes are for white people.
What did you say?
And people who are not white want to be able to cook the foods that they're familiar with, that their children will eat, that make them feel good or comfortable or, pull at their heartstrings. They should be allowed to uphold their cultural foods and eat their cultural diet.
And they need to go get a cultural job. They need to go get the job they get should be in their culture. They should get a cultural job. I'm a black man. There's nothing I won't eat if I'm hungry. Stop it.
And if a portion of their food benefit is your white-centric, lactose-laden meal plan, it's doing more harm than good.
I would find that very disrespectful, because I prefer to poop my life out and be alive than have no food.
How come whenever I hear liberals talk about colonization, they never mention this? Right? Because they've repeatedly told us that colonization is a bad thing. Well, this is 1,400 years of Arab Muslim colonization. Oh, and all of that It's done through bloodshed. Yeah, that was all done through war. There weren't like fucking treaties and shit. No, they took all this at the tip of a sword. Like all of that red area, that's all Arab Muslim colonization. See the little green parts, those are the liberated.
I can confirm I'm in Spain, and some people actually talk about this, and I'm like, yo, you gotta chill. This is no country that you're going to get back. They fought you, and they might be fighting again. Politically, of course.
Those are the places that we're able to get free. I mean, and we could talk about the fact that the liberated areas are doing much better than the red areas, but that's not the point. That's a whole other point. But yeah, I mean, this is colonization. This is 1,400 years of bloodshed, murder, and colonization. But liberals never seem upset by this, right? They never want to talk about it. But I thought colonization was bad. So is colonization only bad when it allows you to yell at white people? Or are you just afraid to criticize Muslims? Because, I mean, their anger can be a little explosive.
I just don't like when people use the past against me when they don't want to call the other past. You can't work a one-way street. And to say that England did something bad in the past, America did something bad in the past, I'm like, okay, I agree with you. And they're trying to fix it. But I don't think the Irish did something in the past. You're still sending a lot of people over there because you don't really care.
These events, these activities, this unity must grow and continue and take over not just parts of Birmingham, but the whole of Birmingham, the whole of the West Midlands, the whole of the UK. Grassroots democracy in action. And we, our communities, have shown the establishment and the rest of the country that we will not be taken for granted, and we will win. The establishment know that if you let one person stand up to them and speak the truth to people about what power is doing to them, then more people will stand up, and there will come a point when we all stand up against oppression, against injustice, and against corruption in politics. You see the power of solidarity. You see the power of solidarity, the power of all of us together. Individually, we may feel helpless, lonely, often frightened. Together, nothing can stop us. No tyrant can rule us. No party, government, or dictator can demand from us subservience. Together, we are powerful. Remember that and take that message onto the streets of Birmingham and share it with every single person you know in this country and abroad.
This person is Iqbal Mohammed MP, calls for Muslims to take over the UK. This is a secret footage was taken yesterday. We must take over the whole of Birmingham, the whole of West Midlands, and the whole of UK. All I have to say is, if that was a white person, you would call him a white supremacist.
When my mom threatened to kill me, it wasn't because I'd left Islam, it was because I took off my hijab. I was still identifying as a Muslim in those days. I just didn't want to wear this anymore. It'd been put on me at 9 years old. I hated it since it was put on me. And I'm an adult now and I want to take it off. And for that reason, I'm not her daughter anymore. Shouldn't go to her funeral. I'm just a whore. She was going to have me killed because she needed to make sure that I was killed before I moved on to the next step, which she saw was going to be leaving Islam. And at that time in my life, I was like, what do you mean? Of course I'm not going to leave Islam. But she's like, I need to make sure you're killed before you leave Islam because then I'm going to have an infidel daughter and I'm the one who's going to be punished in eternity for that. So I need to make sure that you're killed before that happens.
I never heard this analogy, but it made me think a lot about even suggesting people, why are you wearing that? Because I never thought about the fact that somebody might be motivated. You're on the path to do something. Let me make sure you don't read the end of that path. That's a wild way of thinking, if this is true.
You explain the difference between the hijab and the niqab, as well as their role in Islam, as well as your personal experience with them?
So hijab just means covering. Nowhere in the Quran or a hadith does it explain what a hijab needs to look like. The mainstream understanding of hijab is that it needs to cover everything except for your face and hands. Some scholars said that. This isn't doctrine, this isn't hadith, this isn't Quran, but this is the mainstream understanding. And then there are other scholars who say no, even face and hands need to be covered. So I, for example, had to wear black gloves and cover my face completely. I couldn't even have this slit. I just had a thinner piece of cloth over my eye. So complete like Dementor, basically. That's what I look like. So it really just depends on how religious you want to be about it. But make no mistake, whether it's hijab or niqab, both of them are misogynist. Both of them are, to a degree, obviously there's a very big difference between wearing hijab and wearing niqab, but both of them stem from that same place of victim blaming. You need to cover yourself lest these men around you get aroused and end up raping you, and it's because you were showing skin. And so you'll see even little girls being put in hijab, like toddlers. They got a diaper and a hijab on. So I guess the men are telling on themselves, saying, oh, we need this little girl to cover herself up. That's where it stems from. So the misogyny of it, the victim blaming, the supporting of rape culture, essentially, with around the hijab is evil. It's absolutely evil.
I just find it interesting that something that I was taught generally in a Western country is a bad thing to say to any woman, but suddenly we need to accept something because it's culture. I just find that interesting.
Don't get me wrong, ma cosa kita bong. Put the fire na mi blonde, kush, hash, purple, skunk, criollo, colombici, jam, jam, durloqueta, verdetta, welcome.